evening. So one of the special nights in this holy month of Ramadan is the Night of Power. And the Night of Power falls somewhere within these last few days. It's vague around when it might be, and that's kind of part of the joy of the mystery of it, because you're always trying to get those extra prayers in on that night, so you try every night for a little while. But this night is special. This Night of Power is known as the Night of Power because it commemorates the time when the Prophet Muhammad first received his first Quranic revelation. And the surah that he received or partially received on the day that we honor with this Night of Power is Al-Alaq, which is the clot or the binding form. And this surah talks about how we all come from a single blood clot. We all began from the single blood clot, this interwoven, clinging form. And there's a line in it that I think really fits with this, what's happening in GA and what's happening, the idea of what Ramadan offers us. And that line is, humanity transgresses when we think we are self-sufficient. Yeah. We could learn that line a little bit more in our lives, right? Yeah. So what I love about this line is that it's not only something that recognizes how we can be more aware of how we're dependent on others or on something greater than ourselves, but how we are also supported by things that are greater than us and around us. It's not just an offering of humility, it's an offering of support. And so this is what I love about this line. And you think about even the context of when Muhammad first received this line, these verses. He's somebody that is often described as being illiterate, as not being able to read or write, and all of a sudden he is the receiver of multiple verses throughout the rest of his life. So it's this fascinating thing of there's something beyond him working through him and supporting him in being this leader. There's something he's always connected to, something he's always dependent on. And with Ramadan, we get to practice that a little bit. When we don't eat and don't drink and potentially abstain from other activities, depending on how folks interpret the Islamic traditions, this offers us a space to find out how we are connected to the simpler things that support us, to that breath of life, to the communities that we gather in. It offers us a time to realize that we are connected to sources and to creations and creative forces in life that we didn't ask for and that we don't control. How many of you had your flight derailed somehow because of travel here or because of the hurricane? We're not in control of everything that happens to us. We rely on things outside of our control. And so that allows us to be grateful for the fact that there are things we don't control that support us. And to find the blessings in things that support us during this time when we're not eating or drinking and we are hoping that people are patient with us when we are hangry. Yes. And what this line also offers us in a time where we are really learning to heal a lot of the brokenness in our society, it allows us a chance to consider how we can take individualism out of our narrative, how we can start to build community, not see that we have to do it on our own. We can't do it on our own. We need to do it in community. And I want to offer a historical twist on the narrative we often think about with Muhammad to show that he couldn't have done the work on his own. Muhammad couldn't have done the work without his first wife, Khadija. We often talk about how he was this great leader, but Khadija bankrolled his early leadership. We know that. She bankrolled it. When the most powerful people worked against him, she offered her money and her place of power to support him. And when Muhammad first thought he was going mad, when he first got that revelation, she said, no, you're a prophet. Muhammad couldn't be self-sufficient in that moment. Khadijah supported him for the rest of her life. And he supported her because he was also bringing a faith, a way of being in community that was intended to lift up women. We hear a narrative that the Islamic traditions are oppressive to women, but at their core, it is an economic justice and women's liberation, gender equality movement. And that was something that Muhammad offered in a way that Khadijah could also be lifted up. So they were both supporting each other. So as we think about the ways that we're supported by others, I want to allow us to, we think we've got a good number of people at each table, but to have a short conversation with someone next to you about one thing that you are grateful for, that you are dependent on. Just thinking about something that you didn't ask for, but something you're given and don't really have control over. So I'll give you a few minutes, a couple minutes to just think about that and talk amongst yourselves.